Hey, welcome in, everybody. It is time for another episode of Three Guys Before the Game. The crew has reassembled.
Band is back together.
The band is back. The dean has returned from his assignment. And this is Three Guys Before the Game, titled Run with the Bulls. Episode 427. The senator is here. He's always here, consistently here, unlike others who just head off on a lark.
Kind of like Neil Young with Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. Sometimes I'm there, sometimes I'm not.
Precisely.
Sometimes I'm there, sometimes I'm not.
Exactly. Three Guys Before the
Crosby,
Game.
Stills, and Nash to open the show.
Put that on your bingo card.
Welcome back.
Three Guys Before the Game introducing a new sponsor.
What? Today? Right now?
Right now.
A sponsor?
Three Guys Before the Game brought to us in part by GoMart. If you are not a GoMart Rewards Card member, you need to sign up today. Why, you ask? Because you can save on gas and your favorite snacks.
Nice.
Go to gomart.com. That's gomart.com. Rewards for more details. That's gomart.com. Rewards for more details.
Is that where Hunter got that big Slim Jim?
It was GoMart.
Fly rod. Fly rod Slim Jim.
Hunter bought a Slim Jim as big as a fly rod at GoMart, Flatwoods GoMart.
Yeah, I've been there many times.
Yeah.
We're driving down the road. Hunter was casting that thing. Woo! Hunter, what are you
You know how
doing?
many times I've stopped at that Flatwoods GoMart over the years? That was my.
League
Now
leader.
this
Yeah.
will surprise you, but occasionally I like my routines. I can be routine oriented.
You think?
I know it's a
Yeah,
surprise.
don't say.
So when I would go to Charleston when I was with the athletic department multiple times a month,
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to, same routine.
Yeah.
It was always at GoMart.
Absolutely.
That was my stop.
Well, Dairy
Absolutely.
Queen for me for years, plus GoMart. Dairy Queen, GoMart, Flatwoods.
You didn't go to,
Welcome aboard. Let's welcome GoMart to this stupid podcast.
Yes.
Welcome.
GoMart, horrible decision with your budget dollars, but we're going to take care of you. I mean, they got their rewards card. You get there and get free gas and snacks, and they got everything from a foot-long Slim Jim fly rod to whatever it is you might need. Three Guys also brought to us by the good folks at Comax Business Systems, your full-service Konica Minolta dealer. Go to Comax Business Systems at ComaxWV.com. We not only promote Comax, the senator and I now have gear from Comax.
Really?
Yeah.
I should have come to work. I might have gotten some.
We had a need.
You go on vacation, it's hard to get.
Here was the deal. We had a need in the office space.
Yes.
Both of us.
Big need.
So I go like, well, hell, call Bob down there at Comax. So I called Bob. I said, Bob, here's the situation. He said, okay, got it. Very good. I mean, great. I mean, frontline customer service. Like
because here's why. You just said it's exactly how the transaction should happen. We have a need. Can you fill the need? He says yes, need filled. Like it wasn't a 6-week process. It was a couple phone calls, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Bob just said, I got it.
Yeah.
I understand the need. I will fix the need, fill the need, and then execute it on filling the need. It's done. Need gone.
So here's the biggest thing.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
Here's the biggest thing that came out of it. And we talk all the time, oftentimes, about their managed voice and data services and 24/7 remote monitoring. Yeah, they do that. They do it at the highest level. But they can take care of that person that's got the home office as well. From the home office all the way to, well, you name it. Every agency in the state of West Virginia, it's a Comax customer. And I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but they do.
I don't know if that's confirmed.
They're doing it. All right, fine. Anyway.
Allegedly.
Check them out at ComaxWV.com and by the Burdett Camping Center, the only warranty forever RV dealer in all of West Virginia. Visit them at BurdettCamping.com. Huge demand, more so than in the past, for Christmas gifts this year. And it's been reported, not confirmed, we're working on it as we speak, that Santa will have auxiliary distribution units on his sleigh. He'll be using some Burdett campers to
Good idea.
you know how they do that stuff? Like sometimes the post office, they'll have that old blue box that you can't get into. They just put mail in there, and then the carrier goes and refills during the day. Santa will have drops around the world using Burdett campers. Why not? I asked Santa, I said, so Santa, why Burdett? He said, because they're the only dealer in the state that offers a warranty forever.
Good point.
Why wouldn't you? A lot to get into. Speaking of distribution, my gosh, we keep getting a lot of stuff sent here.
We got more stuff. More stuff?
We got stuff, man. We got stuff,
Guys.
man. We've gotten marijuana, we've gotten meat, we've gotten chocolate. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Peanut butter fudge.
Peanut
That
butter
peanut butter
was
fudge the other night was
unbelievable.
unbelievable. I think you missed that too, Kirchwell.
Michael
and
Collodi.
Collodi.
It's tremendous.
Carson and his daughter dropped that off, right?
Yes, exactly. It was Carson, his daughter, with a K.
With a K. Fudge was awesome.
So let's jump in.
Awesome.
The name of the show is Run with the Bulls because West Virginia yesterday at the Coliseum in a rare afternoon into evening game. Like very rarely do you start afternoon and go evening. Went to 5 p.m.
o'clock.
5 p.m. Well, they had to clean up the graduation there at the Coliseum. They had to get the chairs out of there, so they couldn't go earlier. I mean, they had commencement Saturday at the Coliseum.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like they're. I mean, those guys do a fantastic job at the Coliseum changing things out, right? But I mean, it's not like they're guys at the Garden where they're getting ready to take the basketball floor down and put the ice in right in 12 hours. I mean, you got to give them a little time. Got stuff hanging for graduation, right? Speakers up in the air and all that kind of
Really?
stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're very adept at quick change, though. They do that all the time.
They do a tremendous
They're
job.
excellent.
So anyway, West Virginia's now 9-2 on the season with one game to go before Christmas. Interesting, weird game between the Mountaineers and it was interestingly weird because like it's a 1-point game in the second half, and yet West Virginia wins it 96-78, and I was giggling on the way home thinking of the Senator because the line on the game, did you close it at 19 going up?
I saw 19.
19. It closes at 19. West Virginia's up 21. West Virginia's up 21. Final Buffalo possession.
Oh.
They got a young man out there. He said, I don't think I'll take this right side 3-pointer. Chunk.
With
20
4 seconds left?
4 seconds to go. 21 became 18. Bad beat, huh, Senator?
If you were on that side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe some weren't.
You weren't. 'Cause you're
Others-
smiling, so you weren't.
No. I did not have a play on that. Others, yeah, bad beat for some, but others said, give me a little Buffalo there, and they're giddy. That's too straight for West Virginia that have ended like that, though. West Virginia covered against UAB with a late 3 that wasn't really needed, but it was needed for some, Hoppy. Just keep that in mind.
So
Somebody always needs something.
Yes, exactly.
Here's my line of the day.
Which is why there's so much interest in gaming,
Yes.
because somebody needs something.
Somebody
in
always
every
needs
game.
something.
how about this? I was talking to the guys from Buffalo before the game, the broadcast team, and I said, hey, man, I saw in your game notes that you list your radio station that you're on as 1520 a.m. No call letters, just 1520 a.m. Well, I grew up listening to 1520 a.m. It was one of the greatest stations in the country. Hoppy, you probably heard it.
WBZ?
No, it was WKBW.
WKBW,
Jackson
yeah.
W. Armstrong. It's a
WBZ is Boston, KBW is
yeah,
Buffalo.
WKBW. You can get it because it's on the far side of the band at 1520. You can get it. So WKBW, Danny Neverth growing up. I said, "Why you guys 1520?" I said, "Why do you list it 1520?" Well, I said, "What?" They go, "It's all it is 24-hour sports betting." So it's
What?
like
Excuse me?
It's not 24/7 sports betting. Your kind of station.
Did you get a number? Did you get a contact number? Maybe in touch.
So they were kind of like, yeah. So we just put 1520 a.m. because they don't want to be like, yeah, we're on the bet.
The bet.
I'll need that number when you're done. I'm
Yeah,
gonna call.
I
I'm
thought
gonna
it
get
was
some
thought it was interesting.
content to distribute there, Kirchwell.
WKBW, but historic
Yeah, historic.
call letters.
Yes, historic station.
And back in the days of like top 40 radio.
40 a.m. Jackson W. Armstrong.
Yeah. WKBW, and they would do this thing. They would play a hit song because they would play like the same 20 songs.
Listen to this. Listen to this, Brad.
WKBW instant replay.
Instant replay.
And they'd play a popular song and they'd play it again.
Back to back.
Back to back.
Is that so you could get your cassette recorder
Yes,
ready to
probably.
record it and have it on the cassette?
WKBW instant replay.
I mean, so again, I've got self-diagnosed ADHD. I used to get up
Confirmed.
5 o'clock in the morning, and WKBW was my station, and the jock, Danny Neverth, I mean, unbelievable talent, unbelievable. So he did all these voices and all this stuff. So that kind of got me into radio. It really did. I was going like, oh, this is really neat. This guy actually gets paid to do that?
Yeah.
Acting like a clown?
Yeah, right up your alley.
Right. So,
But, same experience listening to stations, those Clear
Sure.
Channel AM stations across the country, WKBW, Super CFL, WBZ, WPGC in Washington, D.C., grow up listening to those stations.
Exactly. So, shout out, 15:20 a.m. So I say it's a weird game, West Virginia and Buffalo. It was weird for several different reasons. One was, it was an 18-point game, but what it didn't open up until late in the game to get to that number. That's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is West Virginia was horrifically bad in the first half of trying to guard the ball screen, the high ball screen. I mean, it was frightening because the conversation at halftime was, wait a second, like if Buffalo is scoring inside like that and there's no one around them, what's going to happen when you enter into conference play? So they had a dude named Isaac Jack, freshman, who averages like 4 a game. He averages 4. He goes out there and he's like Wilt Chamberlain in the first half, 13 points. He finishes 5 of 6. And you go, like, how in the heck is he getting? I mean, there was horrific communication by West Virginia's big and the guard covering the screen, which allowed the center just to be open underneath the basket.
How many times did they run that?
Too many for my liking.
Yeah.
But in the second half, they improved. Jack doesn't score again in the game, and West Virginia does a better job. So that was kind of weird. Second half, they do come back. I've given those guys a ton of credit. I mean, they had no fear in them. They just balled out. And they take a lead. And then you had the rare 8-point play by Trey Mitchell, the very rare 8-point play. Goes up for a shot, gets fouled in the act. That's 2. Defender from Buffalo complains. Official Amy Bonner on the baseline issued her second technical of the game against a Buffalo player. That's 2 more free throws. So Mitchell goes to the line, makes 4. The next 2 possessions, they go to him. He scores twice more. And so he gets the rare 8-point run.
Personal 8-point run.
Personal 8-0 run, and that basically was ball game.
That was ball game. That's my first note on the page. That's what changed the game.
Here's another thing. Eric Stevenson, friend of the program, who's never been on this program, gets a season-high 22, 8 of 13, 5 of 8. And I said this to Jay Jacobs, I think, during a commercial. So, like, Stevenson struggled in his last outing, was 1 of 4 against UAB, comes out, gets the first 2 shots off, and scores them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So here I'm going like, okay, he's hot, hits a 2 and a 3. So, what do they do in the NBA when a guy does that?
Give it back to him.
They just, until
Feed.
what?
Feed until he doesn't make the shot.
Exactly. Until his arms fall off.
Find the guy. Or until they run 3 guys at you and somebody else is open.
Yes. Why don't college teams do that?
Don't know that.
It's the stupidest thing. College teams don't do it. If you're hot, you're going to shoot it until you don't make it anymore. College teams don't do that. It's stupid. Give the kid the ball. He's on a bender. Let's go. Stroke it out, dude. He still got 22, even though they didn't give him enough. They didn't get enough shots. It makes me mad.
I'm not saying anything because I don't disagree. Got to feed the hot hand.
I thought a couple things about the game. One is that, like you said, Tony, it was a weird game. Buffalo hung in there. Defensive mistakes by West Virginia in the first half. But at the end of the day, you take care of business. The better team prevails. You win by 18, 19, whatever it was. So that. And that leads me into another discussion here we'll get into about what's ahead. But also, I thought that Seth Wilson coming off the bench hitting a couple of shots.
Played really well. Happy for him.
Especially in the first half. Critical in the first half to keep you around when they
because the thing was, like, tight in the first half. He came off, gave you a lift, gave you a couple of shots, played some quality minutes. So, again, that speaks to me, Brad, about some of the depth that you have on this team that you haven't had previously.
Okay, here's some other things. Guy we haven't mentioned yet had a great game, James Bell. James Jimmy Bell.
Good feet.
Double-double.
Great feet.
It was excellent. Gave you a double-double there. Career high in points.
Love him.
You take that all day long. You mentioned the Mitchell part of it, so that was good to see. Pace was unbelievable. Buffalo like to get up and down.
Yeah.
We talked about that in the preview, Tony. They like to run. Probably not a good formula against West Virginia, who put up 96 on you. So that worked well. So if I'm looking for, and you're right, I'm not going to nitpick too much in this game. You did what you had to do in what's traditionally a tough slot before conference begins. You're in the holidays. No one's on campus. So that sometimes gets some sleepy performances. Credit Buffalo in the first half for staying around. The one concern, if I'm picking up one concern and moving it forward, that we keep
what do you
saying,
got? What do you got?
What's this team going to become defensively? And where I thought it showed up a lot in this game, you mentioned one of the areas, Tony. The other part where it showed up, and are you going to coffee? Are you getting coffee out right now? He's doing coffee.
Got the thermos out. Got the thermos out.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, Kirchville, now you're behind, because look what I did today, guys. I just went ahead and said I'm not going to be the only one up here without coffee. So I have my own little coffee.
You got coffee?
Little mini thermos.
That's nice. What's the brand on it?
Just a brand. Doesn't matter. They don't pay royalties to us, so we're not going to mention the
No,
brand.
you're
But I just want to let you know I had some coffee here.
You think
on branded
potentially
cup, available
any
for
coffee.
NIL
I
opportunities
don't
for the
have any
coffee
coffee.
cup?
You think we get a 3 guys coffee mug at some point?
Well,
like
tumbler
that?
for a coffee mug should as much as coffee is used on the set.
My gosh.
I mean, good
You
lord,
should
trying
get not a
to
mug,
break
a
down,
coffee.
trying
Should
to
get actual coffee.
trying to break down West Virginia's defensive woes, and he pulls out the coffee there.
Well, that's
I
because
wasn't being
he's
rude.
Okay,
He's
go
in a
ahead.
listening mode.
Pour your coffee, get your coffee. Here's the other part that I thought showed up that they need to fix. I thought West Virginia lost the guys in transition a lot yesterday. And Buffalo did a nice job of running to the three-point line and being available. There were a lot of wide open shots. Didn't ultimately kill you. They didn't hit a ton of them, but they hit enough that you went, you got to clean that up, right? Find in transition. And then the last point, West Virginia, again, we're going to do this every game this year, benefited from the foul stripe, plus 14 points at the line. So free throw rate continues to be an advanced stat that we'll watch every game. It's been a troublesome spot for West Virginia in losses, but in wins, you're starting to see that a little bit more.
They were in the bonus halfway through the first half.
It came through the other day.
You took 20 more free throws than they did. So all I'm asking,
Did the Buffalo coach have anything to say about that?
he was, he at one point,
Was he raising any concerns with the officials about that?
he did, and the one official gave him a stern scolding and said, one more, and you're going to get a technical. So his name's Jimmy Weitzel, has been on that staff. He was on there 4 years with Nate Oates and then ascended to the head coaching job. Now he's in his 4th year. They won the tournament, and they won the MAC in 21, went to the NIT in 21, but they got 9 new guys. So they're molding. I think they're going to be okay. I really do in the MAC. However, because this show tends to go off a little bit, interesting nugget on Weitzel. From Iowa.
Oh.
From Iowa. Whole family's from Iowa. Graduated from Luther. You ever heard of it?
Oh, I did not know that.
82 grad.
Wasn't available to be at the game. If I would have known that, I would have gone down and said, lined up, beat you. That was where I went, Wartburg College. Big rival.
Oh,
Big
Luther?
rival. It's like West Virginia Pitt.
Oh, really?
That's a big rival.
You burned him?
Luther College.
So check this out.
Decorah, Iowa.
So
I'll take a bus, just come up, hit you right in the
That's
face
right,
and
Decorah,
beat you.
Iowa. That's right.
Don't load up the bus, go right up for Luther.
So what's really super interesting is this. Weitzel's brothers.
Take 3 out of the yard on you. Throw me a fastball again, going to hit it over the wall. Go ahead.
So Weitzel's dad
Now
owned
you don't want to pitch to me? Go.
Weitzel's dad bought a radio station there in Iowa. There's brothers. They got on the air young, got a taste of the business, of the radio business. So I don't know how many he has, at least 2 others. They went into show business. They tell me, Hop, you can look this up because you're a good in-show. His brother, one of the most powerful guys in Hollywood.
Huh.
Name?
One of the most look up Weitzel agent Los Angeles, but supposedly is one of the biggest power brokers. And just to take it down to the tertiary level, his brother's ex-wife is now married to Jeff Bezos.
Oh, my gosh.
Say that again. So the brother's ex-wife is now married to Bezos.
Married to Bezos.
Which
went
Bezos
deep there.
left his wife for
Yeah.
her.
And poor Bezos' original wife got remarried, and now she's divorced from the guy that she remarried.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean,
You
this
probably can't say poor Bezos together. That doesn't
Yeah,
ever
really doesn't
go
fit.
together in any context. Did not know he's Luther. Got to get
Well, you blew
check that out.
your opportunity. And in pregame, he was out during warm-ups. I love this. You know those shirts that guys at gas stations wear?
What do you mean, like with the name tag?
Yeah, the name tag, and it's like a powder blue shirt. They
Yeah.
always have those guys on. He was wearing one of those in pregame. So I said, I kind of thought what it was. I said, what's the deal on the shirt? And they go, we've done that for years. Blue collar work ethic.
Oh, yeah, very
So
good.
you wear the gas station guy's shirt, which used to be really, that had a pop that
Yeah.
got popular.
And there was a West Virginia connection on that staff. You went through that on Sportsline last week,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
We didn't cover that on this show, but Sportsline, you
absolutely.
Patrick Weitzel is executive chairman of Endeavor, an entertainment and media agency.
Yeah, I think they might have made one of those shows about him.
Born in Iowa Falls, Brad.
Of course he was.
Lauren Sanchez is the woman who married
Bezos. Yeah.
Bezos.
Yeah.
What do
you got on
tonight? What are we working on?
What do you got on net worth on his brother? Give me a net worth.
On Weitzel?
Yeah. Imagine
you guys go ahead.
Imagine he might be worth a few shekels. So I'm really happy, by the way. You mentioned Seth Wilson. Good for Seth Wilson, right? Came in here as a freshman, didn't play a ton last year, and he goes out here year number 2, and he is identifying and legitimizing himself as a guy that can help you. So I'm happy for Seth Wilson.
Yeah, it's good.
$450.
He's worth $450 million?
$450. Annual salary 10.
Worth $450, worth $500 million lined up.
That was good. And you did the former Natalie Aleph, granddaughter of former legendary PA announcer Doc Stevens, married to Brendan Foley now on the staff.
So, matter of fact, they had their son with them. He's a nice, cute little baby. I gave him a couple cheek turns. Great cheeks.
Did he like that, or he didn't want you up on him?
He was indifferent. He didn't smile, didn't cry, but just a cute little guy. You just want to hug. Cute little guy.
Okay, very good.
So Trey Mitchell also.
Can I give you some clients of his?
Weitzel?
Yeah.
Yeah, who?
Ben Affleck.
I've heard of him.
Jessica
West
Alba,
Virginia connection. Affleck, of course, used to be married to Jennifer Garner.
Who's thinking about running for political office, I read over the weekend.
Garner or Affleck?
Who, Jennifer or Ben Affleck?
Garner.
Really? Where?
You don't say.
California?
Here?
California, I think. Oh. Yeah, I think so. Jessica Alba. Christian Bale.
I heard of him.
Kate Beckinsale. Matt Damon. Jennifer Garner.
Oh, that's her rep?
Whoopi Goldberg and Jake Gyllenhaal. So he's got a couple clients. His agency,
Endeavor.
His agency has a couple clients.
Well, Endeavor's pretty big.
So there you go, man. Gave you that one. That's his brother.
That's a Tony, that's a good tree. That's
Is
a good
he a
tree
Luther
gives.
grad also?
What's that? Yeah.
Is he a Luther grad? Luther College? Did it say that? Or did he go somewhere else?
Let me check.
So
I guess we could.
Those were good nuggets. Well, you're out of the gate with a good week of nuggets early for you.
And one of the people on the Buffalo.
Luther.
He's
a Luther grad too? Damn.
Hey.
Shoot, sorry to hear that.
Yeah. And one of the guys told me, I said, and he goes, yeah, he'll just all of a sudden, we're playing somewhere, he'll just appear. I go, probably just flies.
Probably has access to a plane. I think that
he has access to some wings.
G7, G6, something.
He has
access.
access.
Luther's colors the same as Buffalo's, so that's nice for Coach Weitzel.
Rolls right in.
He just rolls right into his same color.
So next up for West Virginia now, SUNY Stony Brook, who I think statistically may be struggling on the season. We'll do a preview a little bit later on this week, but I don't think it'll be a massive challenge. So it'll be one more opportunity for West Virginia to get some things fixed. As we said, they do have things to get fixed, and on the defensive end specifically.
Tony, I don't care about these games.
Excuse me?
No, we need to talk about them, and I watched the game yesterday, and I understand, and there's things you can find, things you see. So you guys got me into this, and I'm ready now for
Well, you said that like you were bummed out, like we went along and did something we shouldn't have vandalized a building or something. You guys said, you got me into this.
You guys got me into
We
this.
didn't vandalize. We're just trying to get you enjoyment here.
You made me this way.
You do a podcast that deals with basketball. I'd like you to watch the game once in a while for us.
But while I was watching the game, I looked this up. ESPN's Basketball Power Index.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the Big 12, Texas is 5, Baylor 6, Kansas 11, West Virginia 17, Oklahoma State 26, Iowa State 31, Texas Tech 32, Oklahoma 40, Kansas State 41, TCU 55. Those rankings currently are higher, cumulatively, top to bottom, than the ACC, the Big East, or the Pac-12. They're very similar to the Big 10 and SEC. Point being was what you guys already know. This is going to be really, really hard going forward.
Very hard.
And according to the ESPN BPI, they have West Virginia right at about 9-9 in conference and right about 20 wins overall. So you're really right there on the bubble.
Can I interject something real quick to him?
Point taken, Mr. Howe. The state of Iowa is now represented. Mr. Kirchhoff has yielded a moment.
Let me begin by saying, great job on your research. I'm impressed with your research. I'm glad you have gone through and identified that. That's very good.
Uh-oh.
No, uh-oh. Just as a point of assistance,
Yeah.
we're going to move past all due respect to the ESPN BPI. We're going to put that aside, and we're going to show you about Ken Palm's rankings there.
Well, I know that's just what I had access to.
Which came to the same conclusion. I'm just saying. I gave you an all due respect to ESPN. We're going to get you. We're going to get you some better analytics.
All due respect, shut up.
No, that's the same conclusion.
Have something. You're going to do something.
No,
anyway.
no. It's the point remains, and you are right. And there's just a better analytics system I think we can use than ESPN.
Well, I'm a novice.
You're the numbers. This isn't an attack on you.
Okay.
I said.
Okay.
I said great research, and I gave all due respect to you and ESPN.
Let me finish one point.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Because your point remains. You are right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Is that so Saturday, December 31st, you start conference play, you're at Kansas State. And then a couple days later, you're at Oklahoma State. Then you come home, you have Kansas and Baylor at home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, what a fascinating start. Start on the road against two teams, and then you come home against two very good teams. Again, you're looking at, can you split? Right? I'm looking ahead. Can you split?
The four?
Yeah.
Split
can you come out of that too? Can you get one? Can you get one on the road, Brad? And can you get one of these big boys at home?
I'd like you to go in and get two.
Two on the road?
Start those two.
I think getting two would be.
You can get two
really,
on the road.
It's a big ask, I realize, but if
really
you're going to be an
important.
NCAA tournament team in the top half of this league, I think you've got to get. I think you've got to get
two
those two,
on the-
or it just sets up you're going to have to steal one somewhere down the road.
Right.
I think K-State and Oklahoma State, you got to find a way to get both of those against them.
Okay.
That's a big ask, I know.
Ken Pomeroy, KenPom.com, one of the many services that we use and we respect, and we really super respect. Ken Pom, he has improved West Virginia in the last 3 weeks. He had them penciled 3 weeks ago at 8-10 in loop play.
Mm-hmm.
He now has them 10-8
Oh, okay.
in league play.
But look at those two games we're talking about. Here's the margin for error, Hoppy, to back up your point about this league.
He's got them beating K-State 71-70.
Win by one.
And he's got them losing at Oklahoma State 70-69.
By one.
That's tight.
I mean, you talk about coin flip games. So when you said, can you get, I don't know if you can get, but you could lose two of those.
Yeah.
Right? You could
But
come
you gotta
back
get,
very
but you
easily.
got to get one.
One's a minimum, and if you can get two, I think you're feeling good about getting out of the gate, needing 9 wins, wanting 10. 10 and 8, you're a lock.
Yes.
In this league.
Oh,
If
9
you
and
could
9, you're a lock.
If you could get 20% of those wins in the first weekend, all right, now you're off to a good start. That's a big ask, as you just saw.
But I think what it tells you too is that this is going to be fascinating because this is a better team than last year. It's a pretty good team. There's a lot of things to like about this team, different from last year clearly. But this tells you, and I think every other team in this league is looking at this, except for like maybe the top, is looking at the same thing.
Sure.
Well, you don't think Kansas State and Oklahoma State are saying, okay, this is a good West Virginia team, but they're in our place. We protect our home court. We get wins here.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely, Hop.
Absolutely.
It's no listen, we knew the football league would be good coming in. The basketball league, to me, has been the surpriser. It's been the top league for how many straight years now?
5-ish?
And it's not even really close, to be honest. The football league caught up to the basketball league now because of Kansas's reemergence this past year. This basketball league's a beast.
And you look at these power rankings, and you look at the ACC, and you look at the the Pac-12. Those are leagues, and even these other, they have bottom teams. Okay, they have bottom. Okay, we can get these guys. They have bottom teams.
All right.
You don't have that.
No. You're to be honest with you, your bottom teams, according to Ken Pom, as of right now in the Big 12, your bottom teams, 10, Kansas State, 9, Iowa State. How in the heck you got Iowa State at 9? Okay. TCU is 8. They were a preseason top 10, right, Senator? Were they preseason top 10?
Who?
TCU?
Yes, I believe.
Oklahoma is your 7. Tech is your 6. Oak State is your 5. And West Virginia right now, based on Ken Pom's computer, is 4.
All right, hold on. Now you got me into this. Now we're really off track. Real quick. Big 12 play when it opens. Again, these numbers fluctuate after each game is played. So this is just for today as we record this on Monday, whatever today is, December 19. Win by 1 over Kansas State. Lose by 1 to Oklahoma State. Lose by 1 to Kansas. Win by 2 over Baylor. Lose by 1 to Oklahoma. That's your first 5 games in conference play. All 1 point. Then win over TCU by 7. Then we're back to 1. Lose to Texas by 1. Lose to Texas Tech by 1. Beat Auburn by 4. win over TCU by 1. I mean, the number of coin flip games, and that's what we've been saying. To get to the tournament, you're going to have to be very good in close games, it looks like.
Yeah, and so then you get to this fascinating question is that if this is a 1-point game, Brad, Tony, if this is a 2-point game, who gets the ball down the stretch? Who wants the ball?
Eric Stevenson.
Who takes the shot? Eric Stevenson
Give Eric
takes the shot.
Stevenson the ball.
But it could also be if it's Trey. See, Trey Mitchell, to me, is you've seen him against these teams like Buffalo. They just don't have matchups for him. Where it's going to be tougher for him, and you've seen it already against the Power 5 teams. In the Big 12, there's more guys that conceivably match him. He's so skilled and so unique with that body type, with the skill set he has, but the Big 12 is going to have more answers than these others have had. Can he continue to be really, really good when this competition steps up? To me, that's one of the biggest reasons for will West Virginia get back in the tournament. If Trey Mitchell is really good, this is a tournament team that can make some noise. If he's able to be bottled up, the scoring becomes really difficult.
Yes.
Fair?
Yes.
But what you've seen so far, a guy of that size with those skills who can take people off the dribble from 15 feet away and drive to the basket. He did that a couple times yesterday. That's for a guy that size, it was at least one play yesterday. He's at the free throw line. He gets the ball, boom, drives around a guy.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Puts it in.
I like him a lot. So you need to score as much as you can, obviously, anytime you go out there. You're going to need to score in the league, which leads us to our next topic. And I would imagine that people are probably very surprised we haven't even brought it up yet. Just flow of the show. Very unscheduled. Jose Perez has been denied his request for instant eligibility. We thought that it was a foregone conclusion that at worst he would be eligible to play in the second semester. On Friday, the NCAA said no. They said he can be eligible next year. We'll grant him a year, but not now.
So there is one rule and got applied once?
Well, yeah, how's that possible? There's a single rule now in the NCAA book. There's a single person left working at the NCAA, and that single person found the one rule that still exists.
When anybody else can go anywhere at any time?
Has there been any waivers denied before up until now? There's not. Do you even have a waiver process anymore?
And he lost his coach. The coach left. I mean, isn't there?
Coach is gone. Steve Masiella got fired.
I mean, that would seem to me to be a mitigating circumstance. Say the coach that recruited me maybe not recruit him, but worked with him, got fired. Now I'm going to go someplace else and play.
Yeah. So he started to practice on the 17th this weekend, but not eligible. He will, from what we understand, appeal. But you're going to get diminished returns here at some point. So let's look at it. He's like 23, okay? He can go overseas and play pro, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line is he wants to make money playing. So, like, if he doesn't get eligible on this appeal, which I was told once you appeal, they've got 7 to 14 days to respond. Like, if they appeal today, the best case scenario would be like second week of January, maybe, right?
Now
The question now becomes this. Does he ever play at West Virginia?
Mm-hmm.
Does he ever play at West Virginia?
You know, we've seen there seems to be a pattern here of schools just doing whatever they want, not following any rules, telling the NCAA, come get us, and then nothing really happens to these schools. Just play the guy. What if he just showed up against Stony Brook? Oh, is that right? Denied the appeal? Here's what we're going to do. He's number 12. Here we go. He's out there playing.
In the game.
Just scored 15. Come and guess. What do you mean we can't play him? There's no rules anymore. We're playing him. Fines. That council still exists where they send violations?
I mean,
we'll
look,
appeal, play.
I believe in rules and guidelines and people playing by the same rules, and I think it's gotten really nutty. But the fact is, in a nutty environment, how do you get nutted? You just got nutted in this nutty environment. I was stunned by that.
This weekend.
I'm sorry, what was the rationale?
The rationale, I think, was that it's unprecedented for someone in mid-season,
once the season
season had started to get eligible to play in the same school year.
At a different school.
School. But like Brad, this will come down to how hard the appeal and how much you've got behind the appeal. In other words, do they go to the mattresses, so to speak? Does he go get an NCAA sharpshooting attorney, which lives in this world and just says no, and here's why. Do they do that? I don't know.
I just take it macro, to use Kercheval's term, just macro for a second. This is, without getting into the weeds and particulars, and maybe there's 3 things in this case that we just don't know about right now, and that's the denial. So, okay, fine. But just from a macro level, you've got a kid whose coach was fired. It makes sense that he would leave. That's, even if I'm not mistaken, one of the tenets in the transfer code is if your coach leaves, you can leave. The kid wants to play basketball. Let the kid play basketball, for God's sakes. What are we doing from an overarching perspective with all the BS that goes on in this industry and all of the rules that are being flouted and all of the money that's being thrown all over? You got a kid that can't play at the school he was, doesn't want to play at the school where he was, and has transferred to another school where he wants to play, and we're saying no to that? Why?
Yeah.
Why are we saying no to that, Tony?
Well,
can you explain that?
Why
can the kid not play basketball if he wants to play basketball when seemingly every other rule is allowed? A coach can basically do anything they want, Kercheval. They can break every rule, and there's no findings of wrongdoing, and the coach is back.
I'll argue the other side.
Hold on. And so if you have to sit him out for a couple games because you say it's unprecedented and we've never seen it, and he has to sit a few games, which he's now sat for half a season, can you not just shouldn't this be about the student athlete, Kercheval, and let a student athlete play the sport while he's in college? Because what you're doing, Tony, is what you just said. And the kid most likely is going to say, "Well, I'm just going to go make my progress, go overseas." What are we doing?
I understand, and I am with your argument. I buy into your argument. I would imagine the other side is what the NCAA is trying to prevent is just in-season transfers. So it's like the waiver. We joke about the waiver wire. So it's the waiver wire. You're coming down the stretch. Let's pick up a couple guys. Need a backup point guard. Let's get a guy from over here and let him come over here.
So you've got a tsunami of transfers happening right now, and you've got coaches switching. Signing day for football here's in a couple days, Kercheval. And you've got assistants jumping ship, moving to other jobs, guys decommitting, signing over here, big Brinks trucks backing up, delivering money to people. And now we pick one. The tsunami's coming at you, and it's hitting the sand, and we pick one grain of sand up and say, you can't play. Everything else is allowed. Everything else is allowed.
Yes, it's big time.
Yeah.
That's where again, without knowing the particulars of the case, I'm not sitting in the compliance office at WVU. I'm not the one person that still works in compliance at the NCAA. So there's my disclaimer. But just overall, all of the shenanigans that are going on.
Good use.
And this one thing gets denied?
I understand, but what if it was mid-January, early February, and Trey Mitchell says, you know what, Kansas says we need a guy, and Trey Mitchell went to Kansas. You'd lose your mind, right?
Well, you couldn't do
in
that
mid-season.
in January.
Okay, well,
their point is it happened. Their point is it happened in October. Why can't he play?
He didn't transfer last week. He transferred 3 months ago, and the NCAA's just been spinning around in its chair, just doing this in its office, just doing this in its office, just doing this in its office. Now I'm dizzy. Now I can't talk. Just get on the case. Because if you would have got on the case in a timely fashion, then you could have appealed in a timely fashion. You could have saved the season.
That's true.
What are we doing? Everybody's transferring. Kercheval, you can maybe check me out. Every single college football player from last year's in the transfer portal. And this one basketball player can't play. This is the one where we're going to stand up.
What was interesting is,
Dennis Kalichla all over again. The only people that get denied are West Virginia players.
A lot of people on social.
A lot of people on social. Might not be accurate, but
a lot of people on social said if the guy was at Kansas or if he was at one of the blue blood schools, Kentucky, the guy'd be eligible.
Really?
And Manhattan basically, there was some finger pointing to say that Manhattan stood in the way of this. Manhattan came out and went like, don't look at us. We did what we were asked to do. Go look at West Virginia and the NCAA. Don't come to us and say we tried to block it. We didn't try to block it. That's what Manhattan said.
Well, I sure hope for their case that's true, because if anybody's trying to block anything in these days, have your charter revoked.
Because that would be pot calling the kettle. If
I could see blocking it if you had to play him like he came into your league and stayed in a school in your league. That's not the case. West Virginia's not seeing Manhattan.
You don't block that either.
Well, I'm just saying.
When was the coach fired?
October.
Like right before practice started, right?
No, I think practice. Like a day or two before practice, maybe.
That to me is along with there being no rules. That is a mitigating circumstance. That should allow for There should be an asterisk that says, well, they just fired the coach. The guy can certainly leave.
It shouldn't. It doesn't have to be an asterisk. It's in the rules when your coach transfers.
It's in the rules.
I don't even plan on yelling today's show. Now I'm spinning in my chair, ready to throw up, dizzy.
You know, Hoppy didn't used to be here during basketball season. Remember that, Brad? First couple of years, he used to go down there to that legislature, and now he's with us.
Glad to have you.
Glad to have you.
And doing research.
Yeah,
and
he
what?
is.
And doing research on basketball.
Yeah, a little bit. I got one page. I mean, 2/3 of a page.
That was good. Your point stood. Your overall point. Big 12 is very good.
Yeah, but you got more.
No, I know. I'm just trying to update your.
That's all I got.
Just updating your analytic study.
This is what
That's
I got.
all you got. That's all you got. Hit it.
Oh, I got something to do first.
What? Going to textual healing. What do you got?
Was traveling. Can you get the picture up? Was at Morgantown International Airport.
The hell jacket are you wearing? Is that MSN?
MSN.
That's like 1982. What are
Yes,
you
a
doing
nice
with that
jacket.
jacket?
It's held up pretty well. Still looks good.
Yeah. And I'm standing there, getting ready for the flight, which that's another story. Never mind. But and this Ben comes over, introduced himself. Big three guys listener, works for Southern Airways, regional guy for Southern Airways. Ben Funderburg, and
Big listener.
Big listener. Big three guys.
He didn't happen to upgrade you to a private jet, did he? Did they have one just sitting around?
I will tell you this. I don't want to get him in any trouble.
Okay, don't get him in. Don't say it.
No.
But if you give him a little warning, maybe we can get a private jet there.
No private jet, but he was very helpful. There was some weather issues, and Ben was very helpful.
Gave good customer service?
What's that?
He gave good customer service?
He gave very good customer service.
We like that.
And
Good job,
Tony, you'll like this, did get entry into the United Airlines lounge at Dulles.
This is really good.
Had a pass. Thank you, Ben.
Had a pass. Jeff, I'm sure you had really efficient travel. You went down to Texas. Everything operated boom, 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 right on schedule, right?
No, not exactly, but
with
some other issues.
3-hour delay or 4-hour delay?
It was a 2-day delay.
Excuse me? 2-day delay?
What?
Well, there was some things. I don't want it. Just
2-day delay.
More or less, yeah. But we
hate to hear that.
But I did kill the buffet line at the United Lounge.
Do it.
Thank you, Ben.
It is time for textual healing. If you're a listener, the number to text is 304-404-4083, 304-404-4083. Not all texts will be used, just to be fair.
What happens if you call that number?
I think it goes to voice. You can leave a voice message. Remember we used to do voice things?
Yeah, but nobody's checking that, so I just go ahead and text.
Just text. It's a lot easier.
I might text right now.
The last voicemail we took was that one horrendously long thing, and we were looking at each other while it was playing, going like, that's the last time we're doing this. Remember?
Yeah. But I think we found out it was a voice to text, which created the problems.
What's that number again?
304-404-4083. 304-404-4083. And off we go. Logan in Myrtle Beach. Hey, three guys. After reading Jonathan Tyler Kennedy's Esquire III's excellent article on Casey Legg, I'm getting more and more convinced he is a modern-day Benedict Arnold.
What?
He first tried to sabotage Scopes' house and now has stolen a story from America's #1 news anchor.
Oh, he means Taylor was Benedict Arnold, not Casey Legg.
Yeah, if I were Spreads, I would be on the lookout for any unusual betting activity that may have caused a bad beat. Love the show and Taylor's good sense of humor. Logan in Myrtle Beach.
That happened while I was away. I thought it was just Casey Legg, just mic drop, good run, loved it.
And Taylor broke the story.
Oh, did he?
Well, sure he did.
Because he
That's
kind of
his boy.
hangs around with
he's like
Casey Legg.
He's like in Casey's fan club. Texter Randy from State College. I'm hoping you guys can clear something up. I've heard a legendary story about the backyard brawl. I'd like to know if there's any truth. As the story goes, it happened Old Mountaineer Stadium. Pitt was backed up against the goal line near the student section. They had to punt. Pitt sends the punt team out there, and the students are going nuts. Both teams line up. Suddenly, the long snapper turns around, can't find the punter. Rumor has it the students got a hold of the punter and passed him up through the stands. I don't know if it's true, but I sure hope so. Can you shed any light? You're not the first person that has brought that. I've heard that. I don't know if it's true. It sounds very far-fetched. I mean, let's face it. You take a football player and pick him up and start passing him around in the stands, that would not go over without any hooking. John Antonik, curator of WVU Sports, I'll ask him to see if there's any truth to it.
I saw Pitt games in the bowl, and I don't recall that happening, but you were very close to the action.
Sean in Florida writes, I know that the genie cannot be put back into the bottle. Likely not much can be done for NIL or the portal, but I wonder, if one rule change is possible that might help to some small degree, do you think there would ever be a consideration of changing the number of games a player can play without losing a year of eligibility from 4 to 3? That might eliminate teams from having players quit on them in the middle of the year just because things aren't going well as they would like. 3 games less of a sample size to make the call. I can understand players opting out of bowl games, but quitting in the middle of the season is ruining the integrity of the game. Oh, I don't know if moving it from 4 to 3 would be a significant deal. I don't know if that would be. I think there's things that can be done, will be done in time, but I don't know if 4 to 3 will do it. Frank in Boulder, Colorado.
Heard of it?
You might have remember him. Sent us a package.
Yeah, man.
Glad to hear the package arrived. I sensed some angst on the show, so a few comments. Number 1, no law enforcement officer and or entity is looking to stop small volume gummy exchanges. I routinely walk through the airport security with tubs in my carry-on.
Really?
Federal property unscathed. They got bigger fish to fry. Number 2, Hoppy's on-air characterization of instantly becoming Spicoli upon ingestion does a disservice to the healing properties of the gummies. At a quarter or a half, can do wonders for sleep, inflammation, and overall anxiety levels. You never know. One might even find themselves being able to order their own sandwich at Subway. 3, if you do ever find yourself in a position where you need to ship, be cautious and always ship using the Postal Service. There are very high bars for inspecting packages. See search warrant versus UPS or FedEx, who are private companies and can do what they want. B, pay cash at the post office. And C, for the return address, always use a neighbor that you dislike. Finally, please enjoy / experiment over the holidays. Have a great Christmas and best wishes in 2023, Frank in Boulder. Frank sent us some gummies.
They remain sealed, right? I mean, no member of this team has...
No, they're sealed. How did we even get on that topic? So someone said, instead of beer, why don't you try this? I think that's what it was. Instead of Kirch.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. Texter, Scope, Senator, and Beermeister, with bowl season upon us, I'm wondering, how do you think the Tulanes, the Troys, the Texas San Antonios of the top 25 would have fared in a Power 5 conference? I know this used to get brought up when we were in the Big East, and beating Georgia and Oklahoma helped change minds. Maybe we just all have to see how they do in their bowls to have an idea. Although the DT Cure Bowl won't tell us much. Curious as to your thoughts, Mark and Buchanan. So, Mark, you raise a really interesting question. I think nowadays the teams in those respective conferences and divisions will do better than perhaps they would have in the past if they do go against a Power 5. Why? Because these games have become absolute exhibitions. They resemble JV games. They resemble spring games. Travis Jones of our staff broadcast the Fenway Bowl on Saturday. Cincinnati had lost 4 of its top receivers either to the portal or via transfer. 4 of their top 5. Oh, and their head coach.
Yeah. And their defensive line coach.
Right. And so these games now are the lower level are absolute just skeletons of what teams were in the regular season. So I don't even necessarily know anymore if it carries any weight. You guys are getting ready to go work. We have to be out of here in about an hour. These guys are going to work these bowl games. You'll see it and hear it I mean, the number of transfers is crazy.
It is, but I'll go first because I'm a noted bowl honk.
Right.
I love all of these. My streak continues. I've watched a little bit of at least every game multiple years now. Did again over the weekend. Louisville was in the same boat though. Louisville's head coach was gone, was going to the other sideline. Louisville's quarterback, Malik Cunningham, who was dynamic, sat out. They still lined up, kicked Cincinnati right in the teeth 24/7. So some of that matters. There's still individual fun performances. Rice against Southern Miss, a game you probably don't watch in a packed Saturday slate, was awesome. Did you see what Frank Gore Jr.'s son did? Or Frank Gore's son, Frank Gore Jr., went off for a bowl record rushing. I mean, it was a fantastic appearance. There's just games up and down. Boise State, North Texas.
Yeah.
Right? North Texas, the AD leaves. Ren Baker on his way out the door, fires Seth Luttrell. He's out. They're in chaos. Boise State lines up, comes from behind, and wins that game. That SMU-BYU game. Yeah. I mean, I just think here's the way I view bowls, guys. Are there guys opting out, which makes people crazy? Yes. Are coaches leaving? Yes. Are assistant coaches flooding out? Yes. That all happens. To me, we wait 9 months to watch these football games. You're going to put games on, like you just said, Tony. It's going to be 2:30 on a Monday. We're going over to do the national broadcast of the pre- and post-game is what we handle, and we are part of the game broadcast. Travis is doing the game.
Marshall and UConn.
There's a game on at 2:30 on a Monday afternoon. Give me some of that. Yeah. Give me that all day long, because in July, I'm looking around for sports to watch. So I may be on the far end of the spectrum. I get it. I like these games. I think there is value. And by the way, I'll say what I've said. We've all three been in the locker rooms of West Virginia when they've won games that are not BCS games. And we've seen the celebration and what that means. And if you watched games this weekend, Southern Miss's celebration, you think that meant something to that particular group? Maybe it doesn't mean anything to the person watching in Minnesota, but it does to these teams. It still matters to them. I'm in. Count me in on this. I mean, it's not a perfect system. Count me in.
No, Brad, you and I are in exactly the same place on this, because one of the beauties of the bowl system is you have multiple champions. Okay, you're going to have X number of champions of a bowl, like they are the champion of that bowl. Okay, like today, either Marshall or UConn will be the champion of the Myrtle Beach Bowl, and they're going to have a trophy, and they're going to celebrate, and they're going to be happy about it. Also, if you're watching a game and kind of half tuning in, okay, I'll see if it's a game, and if it's the second half, it's a good game, you don't care and probably don't know who's not playing, right?
Yeah, the game's
All good points. Excellent.
And you can get a little action down on the 30 extra.
These are huge betting.
Huge.
These are huge betting deals.
And fun.
Absolutely. I don't disagree. I think they're fun. They're exhibition games. They're fun to watch because we like to watch football.
It's just a game. I mean,
there's football on. End of argument. There's more football on.
Brandon
there's more football.
Did you see the end of the Raiders and the Patriots
Oh, my
yesterday?
Lord in heaven.
Might be one of the dumbest plays in NFL history. Could be one of the dumbest plays in NFL history.
I couldn't believe I watched it. I thought,
lateral.
Unbelievable.
In a tie game, just go to overtime. You weren't behind.
Well, that was the plan.
That's what you just, that's something you do.
Like planned by the guy throwing the lateral.
Did you see it, Tony?
Yeah. Oh, I saw it. Absolutely. Unbelievable. Brandon in Jaredstown, West Virginia.
Hello.
Listening to multiple conversation on NIL deals and transfer portal. What if we started offering player incentives like the NFL? Garrett Green, if you throw 25 touchdowns this season, you get $40,000 in bonus. Just a thought to explore. I had a conversation with someone over the weekend, and it went like this. NIL this, NIL that. I said, I'm totally good with that. And I do favor, and in the future, I do think there will be incentives and bonuses for guys that play in bowl games. If you win, you get more money like that. If they really want to do it, no, this is going to make Brad's head come off. I'm not even going to say it. No, I'm going to say it.
Say it. No, you can't stop now.
Okay, dude, you want to make money? You want to do NIL money? Okay, fine. We're going to pay you. That touchdown pass you dropped to lose the game, you're going to do a little bit of retainers coming back. I know, just stop. I'm just kidding. Brandon in Jaredstown. He said, by the way, thank you.
So when a coach has bad clock management and yaks it, then we're going to deduct their paycheck?
Let's do it.
When the guy that you recruited as an assistant coach drops a pass, guess what? The wide receiver coach on a drop pass, you get deducted too. Exactly. Fine. So if you want to do it for the players, fine. Coaches get deducted too.
He ends his text by saying, thank you for providing the average content. Just kidding. I love the show.
Average content.
It is average a lot of times.
We're up to average.
It is average a lot of times.
Better than poor.
Fair point.
Yeah, I mean, we got through school being average.
Yeah, C+.
Texter, feeling deflated that my last text didn't make the program. But as the saying goes, if at first you don't succeed, you better have a Courchevel. Can't wait to get my hands on some of that. You guys should consider canning it, selling it through a shipping service. Mm-hmm. If you have people lining up for $250 to meet and greet, I think you'd have bundles lining up to pay $60 to $80 for a 12-pack. Honestly, you should have went $350 a ticket, captured some more consumer surplus without hearing too much about price gouging. You have to push product at the right price. A WVU MBA grad down in Savannah.
Somebody understands marketing.
Agree. Next event we do might cost $650, and we're efforting the canning process. What? Oh.
You always get on me for saying stuff out of school. Just chill down.
On what? The price of the next one or the canning?
The canning.
We've already said that.
We did? Yeah,
you don't even know what you've said.
Never mind.
You don't even know what he said.
We need a stenographer. Read back what Mr. Creedy said.
We need the red challenge flags in here. Throw a challenge flag. Get on me for a second.
Texter, hey guys, Brian from Williamstown. I know we aim for brevity, but that ain't happening here, so buckle it up. First, I too was fortunate enough to get a golden ticket to the Courchevel event, so I look forward to seeing you all. Second, thinking about that event, I'm sure there are some good over-unders to consider, such as 1. The amount of guests with land, or those who have a buddy with land that they use. By the way, my wife's family has had land in Jackson County.
See?
Of course they have.
Number 2, the number of guests with an RV from Burdett Camping Center. 3, the number of guests that have a West Virginia connection with another guest. I can see it now. Oh, you live in Shady Springs. You know Jane Doe? That's my wife's cousin who runs the post office down there.
Exactly.
That's a good text.
Speaking of West Virginia connections, I'm curious who has the most interesting West Virginia connection out of the guest list. Here's mine. My father-in-law was a referee for high school and Division II basketball. He knew Gene Steratore really well. He also suffered a knee injury after being accidentally run over by the Tamar Slay during a game at the Armory in Beckley when he was in high school.
Slay was really good.
My ex-grandmother went to high school with Jerry West. My childhood's best friend's cousin was best friends with White Chocolate, also known as Jason Williams at DuPont, and I've got a rookie card that he signed for me a while back. A good buddy of mine from Nitro was related to Lou Burdett. Lastly, I'm now friends with former WVU lineman Travis Garrett. Our kids go to school and play sports together. All right, I'll cut the list off. But, man, will there be some fun stories to be had on January 6th. P.S. Since you all have some extra income from this event, you should have some athletes from the university to come over as an NIL opportunity. Just saying, take care.
Yeah, we should. Can we get somebody over, NIL? Who would be good? All right, who would be your first choice?
Andre Johnson.
I will say this. So his dad got hit by Tamar Slay, got run over, blew a knee. You are so lucky Sam James didn't take you out when he ran you over in preseason practice.
Yeah. Wow. I know.
I mean, at your age, that could have been that's a disaster waiting to happen.
You're right.
Back to the field.
It would have been disastrous.
Texter Charlie from Midlothian, always enjoy the banner. Since so many wide receivers are leaving, with that being said, since we are having two running quarterbacks, and hopefully C.J. Donaldson returning, Tony Mathis and Jalen Anderson staying, maybe it's time we reconsider the wishbone, also known as the 1969 Peach Bowl beatdown of South Carolina. Yep.
Hey, speaking of players staying and going, so the Jordan Jefferson story, I think that broke when I was gone. It was disappointing. But I looked on the portal yesterday. There are 73 defensive linemen in the transfer portal currently that have not committed. 73. Now, I don't know how many are nose tackles, and I don't know how many are any good. But, Brad, got to go find somebody.
Just go get guys.
73.
That is a loss for Jefferson.
Oh, huge.
So you're losing Jefferson and Stills in one season.
Yeah.
Just hang tight on that, though. Let's just keep our fingers crossed.
What now?
Who knows, man? I mean, can you get him back? Not everyone that goes in the portal is always gone.
All right.
I mean, sometimes you got to hear the beep, beep, beep.
The truck backing up?
Truck backing up. Bring that Brinks truck. Come on in here.
This system cannot be sustained.
Mike from Wheeling writes in a hard copy letter.
Oh, my goodness. Snail mail.
Sent us a box.
It's amazing how many times you dropped that thing.
So I was it's because why the heck do we have a mouse,
corded mouse
with a wire on it?
I know. Well, I
Can
don't
we
know
get a wireless mouse?
Yeah, but here's why. You would never charge it. You wouldn't. Kercheval and I would, so you would never charge it. We'd be left when we're doing a show without a mouse working. Kercheval, fair? Fair. He would never remember to charge it.
Fair.
Go ahead.
I'm at a local bakery that sells candy from a bygone era when I noticed a Coffee Crisp candy bar. I immediately thought of Tony and his story about selling those candy bars at his father's store. Here it is, man. Like, this is...
Is that it?
That's the Coffee Crisp.
There you go.
Taylor, do you have Zoom functions on that? Anyway, I was feeling good about my gift to Three Guys team, but while watching the last episode, I saw...
That's the opposite of
one listener wanted to send a side of beef, another sent a 10-pound gift basket, while others promised craft beers or food items from continents half a world away. Trying to buy favor for a ticket to the beer fest, thus my gift has been reduced to a stocking stuffer status. I will not go so low as to test your integrity unless you perhaps create a nice lager. You could hold a contest to name it, create more entertainment, and mind-numbing banner for our amusement. I would like to point out a disturbing trend that I've noticed.
Uh-oh.
The closer it gets to the big event, the bigger Hoppy's head gets. I watched the video of him at the brewery, and he's prancing around like he's Marky Mark, and you guys are the funky bunch. It's nice to know I can always count on at least one crumb of useful information in the hour-plus broadcast, and I learned that Tony discovered that Jim Justice was the Mothman. Who knew? I never said Jim Justice.
I don't think that's quite how it
I don't
came
think
down.
we went that. I always try to be helpful, and you three could certainly use some. Thus, a change to the Kercheval label. Hoppy should be sitting on a stool next to a giant cow udder. Tony would be standing at the backside of said cow with coffee thermos in one hand and a number 9 coal shovel in the other, waiting for the inevitable, and Brad would be on the other end, nattily dressed but cleaning his shoes after stepping in the inevitable. So he sent us the Coffee Crisp, Jujubes, and old school Boston baked beans. You remember that? Thank you very, very much.
Is that sugar covered nuts, right?
Yeah, Mike and Wheeling. Thank you, Mike. I'm crushing that Coffee Crisp, by the way.
I don't know that your head's gotten any bigger since getting a beer named after you.
No, it's made you more uncomfortable and embarrassed, which I like.
I think you've gone the other way. You're actually more uncomfortable and tighter than you were before.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Tight.
Our guy, Coach Mark Montgomery, one of the all-time great listeners, said, guys, here you go. He sent us swag, new swag.
He always comes through.
These barbershop shirts, which are big for coaches, he sent us each one of these.
What's a barbershop shirt?
The Untucked. That's not a barbershop. That's just a pullover. That's nice.
Yeah, it's a pullover.
Barbershop one would have the collar on it and button up the front. That was worn untucked.
Got Liberty Raleigh logo on that.
Yeah.
Hoppy, you got
That's
one.
awesome.
Oh,
Thank you,
nice.
Mark.
Mark Montgomery, I mean, he's terrific.
He always comes through. Thank you, Mark.
Terrific.
Appreciate that. Terrific. You got more stuff?
Yeah.
Jeez.
What are you doing over there?
This is an all-time classic.
Is this Halls? Just had a conversation with someone this weekend about the
well,
world
listen to
famous
this.
Hall's
This is
drops?
listen.
No.
This is not
Chocolate.
This is not someone who went to Hall's Chocolate here in West Virginia and sent this to us.
Okay.
This is from Hall's Chocolate
Themselves?
themselves.
Awesome.
Really?
Apparently, we said. Well, I guess it was me. From Hall's handcrafted Swiss chocolates, you can visit them at Hall's HOLLS.com.
Yeah, this will be good.
Right?
Yeah.
This was their card.
Yeah.
Scopes, happy holidays. This chocolate is from the chocolate place in the mid-Ohio Valley that you were unfamiliar with.
Uh-huh.
Please give one layer each to each of your co-hosts.
Mm-hmm.
So they heard us talking about them, and they sent us, I mean, everyone knows.
This is tremendous chocolate.
It's not good. It's like
I was
off
literally
the
just
chart.
telling this story to somebody on Saturday night.
Really?
Talking
About
about Hall's chocolate. Yeah.
You all
Here in
eat-
the state, one of the great state treasures.
You all get it. It's like that glass place up in the northern panhandle. This is one of the treasures. Happy holidays. We each get a layer of that chocolate.
Nice.
And my
Appreciate
buddy,
that. Happy holidays.
I told you about this. I may have told Brad on the last episode. A buddy of mine went to Japan. And brought me back Kit Kats from Japan. Right? They're Japanese Kit Kats. And then it flipped him out because I gave this one dude, and he gave it to his wife. This one is a cheese Kit Kat.
Oh.
The others were wasabi.
Oh.
This one's a
interesting.
chestnut Kit Kat. I mean, And one is just a straight chai. So anyway, Japanese Kit Kats lined up. Thank you very much.
Wasn't it you that said in Japan they have like 100 different kinds of Kit Kat, and that's indicative of that's what that's about?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Big. Texter, three
Hurry
guys,
up. I want to
hello.
open this Hall's chocolate. Hurry up.
This is Joe in New Mexico, via Arkansas, via Washington State. I was born and raised in Charleston, that is, and I'm a former landowner in Monroe County. Tony, I have emailed
Why
you.
former? Did he stop paying the taxes?
He's in New Mexico now. Probably invested in land.
Have land in New Mexico?
Probably bought a big hatch pepper farm in New Mexico.
With all his proceeds from the land he owned here.
Tony, I've emailed you maybe 5 times in the last 15 years, and I'm pretty sure you replied to every one of them. Do you have a handler? If not, I feel pretty good that you found my messages among the tens of thousands laying in your inbox at any given time.
Fair point.
Here's hoping that Bob Huggins and company have really hit the jackpot this transfer portal. We have a strong, deep team, need some positive news. Let's go Mountaineers. Thank you very much, Joe, and we are receiving hatch peppers from New Mexico. Little tidbit there. Texter, Jason in Charleston, South Carolina, season's greetings. I'm listening to Tony play chicken with the Mothman right now. I'm with Brad on this one. I firmly believe that if you play stupid games, you will win stupid prizes.
So stay away from Mothman. Thank you.
Tony, you are too important to Mountaineer Nation. Please reverse course right now.
Thank you. I 100% agree.
With my play,
Who's that? Who wrote that?
Jason in Charleston,
Jason in
South
Charleston,
Carolina.
yes.
Did you have a second Mothman reference? Because last time I was on,
Well, it's continued.
you were
Getting
saying
closer.
that like you knew the Mothman.
He doubled down. He doubled down, and that's a great phrase, playing chicken with the Mothman.
Hey, Hop,
Yeah.
Oh,
I got a text.
there we go.
The Mothman knows we're talking about him.
There. That's what the line, I was already uncomfortable with this line of this topic.
Yeah.
And then he just said he got a text, showed it to me, saw the line, said the Mothman knows you're talking about him. And I just need to be clear that it's Tony talking about the Mothman. And you've joined in a little bit as well. I am out on this conversation. I am out on the Mothman conversation.
How's the Mothman text? The
No,
Mothman.
somebody texted
with
on
his
behalf.
wings?
No, somebody texted on behalf of the Mothman, said the Mothman knows you're talking about him.
You know who knows?
I don't think you ever want that line said about you.
You know who
do you?
knows?
Do you ever want somebody that the Mothman knows you're talking about him?
Mothman knows. Coming to your house. Christmas Eve.
You know how the Mothman knew we were talking about him?
How?
Three guys
Because
listening.
his son listens to the podcast.
Of course he does. The Moth Boy?
I'll say this. You know, the sales folks probably need some assistance from time to time. That should be in the next deck that they present to show the breadth and depth of the audience that listens to Three Guys. It should just be simply the Mothman's son listens to the podcast.
I've not had a coffee crisp in 40 years.
Did he just open that?
These frickin' things.
Were we going to get a piece of that?
He's
Were
doing
we
his
going
own
to chop
thing.
that up into
Hey,
thirds, or he
numbnuts.
just takes
You
it?
got jujubes and you got baked beans.
Well, I
We
wanted
each
the
got one.
coffee thing. I don't want the
No,
Boston baked
I own the
beans.
coffee crisps. Back off, Johnny.
See, that's what happens. Those people, when he's on a road trip, give stuff to come back. That happened right in front of us. You think stuff that he's given in Texas ever makes it onto the bus?
You can have the jujubes.
I don't want the jujubes. I wanted chocolate.
Okay, I'm going to ask you guys.
Yeah.
We're trying to get as many texts in as possible. You guys have to leave on time. I'd be here till 5 o'clock. I don't care. So let's just keep going. With my plea for the safety of
You notice
Tony's.
he only says that when he's done something that's pissed us off. So we start killing him, and now he
segues.
tells us to
He
hurry up.
segues.
Wants us to hurry up because he was getting killed in the last 2 minutes.
The only thing I would say is I'm not doubting that someone dressed up as the Mothman. Okay? I'm just saying that's not the Mothman. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying that someone dresses up as the Mothman that you have met, that individual is not the source of the Mothman legend.
Oh, really? And what are you basing that on, Johnny? What is your based evidence that he can't be the Mothman? Let me hear it.
I think the legend of the Mothman is this fictional being that exists and causes all kinds of chaos.
So you think the legend of the Mothman produced the person dressing up in the Mothman costumes,
Yes.
not the reverse?
Exactly.
Tony's claiming the reverse, that someone dressed up and that produced the legend.
Of the Moth. Exactly.
You're saying it's the reverse.
Exactly. Yes, thank you.
There we go. Clarify. Hurry up. We got text to get through, and I don't want to talk about Mothman anymore because we shouldn't be talking about the Mothman, especially when he knows we're talking about him.
What if I get you an interview with the Mothman?
It's not the Mothman.
Oh, okay. With my plea for safety of Tony's soul out of the way, I had a thought on the Caden Prather transfer. I fully understand how a player with his potential can damage team morale by leaving. He definitely made some key plays. That said, would you consider this season as a breakout year for Prather? Realize we are in dire need of some continuity, but I just don't feel like this is as big of a loss as many are making it out to be.
Well, I thought he had an excellent year. I thought he turned into an excellent possession receiver. Brad caught the ball, turned, tried to make a play. I thought he had a good year.
I would not say it was a breakout year. I would say he showed enough to say he's ready to take the next step next year if he were to stay. Wouldn't call it a breakout year, but he showed me enough. I'd rather have him there than not.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. With a group that's super inexperienced now. If Prather is not part of this roster, which I know he's entered the portal.
Texter wants to know if there'll be leftover Kurt Javale after the event on January 6th. Yes, there will be. There's only 14 barrels. It's going to be distributed in this area, north central West Virginia. And if it goes really, really well, there's probably going to be more made. By the way, I saw Santa on social media at Chestnut Brew Works. I don't know if you saw this post from Chestnut Brew Works, folks. Santa was at the tank where your beer is being made, and there's a faucet right there. I guess it looks like a regular faucet, and he was pouring himself a Kirchhoff off that thing. Santa, 3 sheets to the wind.
Sleigh off course.
Yeah.
Send the royalty check over, Santa.
Yeah.
Did you just bill Santa?
Huh?
Did you just send Santa a bill?
Yeah, Santa doesn't get a free ride.
Gosh, it's cold.
Line up.
NIL deal.
Texter says,
Mothman giving a better royalty than Santa does.
This Mothman thing. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Hi, 3 guys. I understand the early skepticism of others on the veracity of the claims by the purported Mothman.
Ah, jeez.
But I lost all doubt once Tony explained that the guy had a career in politics. Happy holidays, Sean, in Washington State.
I'm going to get on this, by the way, but go ahead.
Texter, scopes, suds, spreads. Why do college players no longer wear their mouthpieces? It's like a cool thing right now, right?
Well,
do they have one in and then just leave one dangling?
No, because it's also like everything else in college athletics, there's no enforcement. So it used to be if you didn't have your mouth guard in, they'd say something to you. Now the referees have other things to worry about. So there, again, no enforcement. Unless you're a former Manhattan player trying to play at West Virginia, then there's that one thing of enforcement. If you're a quarterback, don't want to wear your mouthpiece anymore, don't wear it.
Or you're an offensive lineman just 3 yards downfield.
Whatever.
This next text is going to be disconcerting for Hoppy.
Uh-oh.
I apologize in advance.
Oh, geez.
Just the way it is. So here's the deal, man.
I'm self-actualized, so go ahead.
Let's see how you handle it. I received a dispatch, direct mail direct text over the weekend. I guess they call that a DM. And unfortunately, as we unveil Hoppy Kirchhoff in our event on January the 6th, it has been unseated as far as its distribution goes. Taylor, if you would put up the bottle. Seems as though Hoppy's enemy, Pete Thamel, will be producing a beer. Could you put the next one up, Taylor? And this is what it says. Try Pete's first. Release date January the 5th, 2023. It's called Pete's First Tham Ale. And underneath it says, our brewer's work starts before the hop. The much-anticipated Thamgasm has unfortunately been delayed. However, a similar competitive product has been prematurely released.
Nice. That's well done.
Thamel got you again.
That's well
done. Try Pete's first.
Try Pete's first. The name of the beer, Tham Ale.
Tham Ale's pretty good, too.
That is good. That's a good job.
Well done.
I mean, sorry about that, Hoppy.
That's...
Texter writes, 3 guys, portal's slowly killing my enjoyment of college sports. Not trying to be dramatic, but that's how it feels. Death by 1,000 cuts. No real death, but the death of my enjoyment of college sports. When I talk about past years of West Virginia football, I don't say the 28 team or the 2013 team. I say Pat White's team, Geno Smith's team, Mark Bulger's team, Rasheed Marshall's team. Specific players are my connection to the Mountaineers over the years. Now it's mostly gone through the portal. Reform needs to happen. Adopt the rules of pro sports if that's what it takes. I know the top programs don't have any incentive to do it, but it's absolutely in the best long-term interest. Everyone else will eventually stop watching if said trend
It's coming.
continues.
I will say this. Will Greer and David Sills' team was pretty fun in 2018. They were both transfer portal additions.
True.
Was Will Greer a nice pickup, Hoppy, through the transfer portal?
And Sims on his rebound.
Sills. He gave you both.
Sills.
He entered and left and then returned, both from the portal. So it can pay
Yeah,
off.
I don't want to get into all that today.
It'll be fine.
Well, another day, now that we got a new head of the NCAA and Congress is kind of toying around with it, another day.
Texter, massive news here. Guys, this weekend, traveling on 19, I saw that there is a new Powell Mountain goat.
What?
Taylor, the picture, please. See it? It's brown. Really can't. It's there. Way
Where
up
is it?
top, about a quarter of the way down, is a brown mountain goat. New mountain goat, Powell Mountain. And West Virginia did not cover.
Won the original.
Texter, West Virginia, I don't even know. West Virginia needs digital tickets for games. After going to games, it makes it so much easier. Does West Virginia have digital tickets?
I don't know. I thought they did.
I thought they did too. They can email you tickets. I did that once already this year. Didn't know about that. Texter. Merry Christmas, three guys. I'm checking to see if you Yuletide cheermeisters have memories of the great musical talent of B.E. Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
He had his annual Christmas shows, travel throughout the state, a regular holiday in my family. His son, Wheeling Park grad B.C. Taylor, carrying on those wonderful shows, had a couple this past weekend at Moon High School outside of Pittsburgh. I attended with my family, just wonderful. The band features the same great musicians, Jeff Jimerson, who's fantastic.
Yes.
He's known for the Pittsburgh Penguins national anthem. The Wizard of Weirton, Rick Witkowski, who's a wonderful dude. It's not the same without B.E.'s Golden Pipes, but B.C. does a great job honoring his dad's legacy. I hope this will bring the show back into the state of West Virginia, although they do have a tribute show in Wheeling before the pandemic began. So that's Matt in Pittsburgh. Let me tell you something, Matt. Hoppy and I loved B.E. Taylor.
Yes.
And I tell you what, in the last 4 weeks, I have listened to B.E.'s Christmas stuff pretty much nonstop. And he was not only an unbelievable performer and did a great job, he was a wonderful guy.
Absolutely.
We had so much fun with him. Wonderful guy. And sadly, he's missed. I loved him, man. I really did.
Yeah, he was just everything you said, Tony. I mean, tremendous talent. That was a wonderful Christmas show, and you and I got to know him personally. Just a wonderful guy, funny and unassuming, and he's really. I'm like you. We have it on at the Kirchville household. His Christmas.
You know,
music.
my wife said, "Man," she goes, "It's hard for me to listen to."
Yeah.
Because, and I said, "Well, wait a second. This is the way I kind of rationalized it." Yeah, it is. But at the same time, like, that was his gift.
Yeah.
His gift was that.
Mhm.
So, like, cherish his gift that he left us. That's how I do it.
One quick B.E. Taylor story. Can I tell you that?
Sure.
I know is that. So when I first started dating my eventual wife, and she was familiar with. Did I tell you this before? And you know how Joan and Karen always think that I listen to you and you listen to me.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, exactly.
you go home and go, Hoppy said this, and I'm going to say Tony said that.
It's well known Karen doesn't like me, but anyway, go ahead.
So Karen said, hey, there's this entertainer coming. I know him from Wheeling, and then a good show. And I kind of blew her off. I'm not going. I'm not.
Shocked.
I'm not going. I'm not going.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So then the next year, you were telling me about B.E. Taylor, and I came home and said, hey, listen, Tony said there's this guy, B.E. Taylor, and we should go see the show. Almost didn't.
Top of her head blew off.
Yeah. Blew off. Almost.
You had forgotten she had said that a year before.
Yeah.
And didn't deal with her.
No.
But as soon as Tony said it, then you went home and bragged about it.
Yeah. Almost.
Bad move.
Almost did not make it through that.
That's why that might be that may have been the point where she really started to dislike.
Almost did not make it through that.
Texter, Jordan Jefferson heading the portal, defensive tackle, now becoming a area concern. Am I wrong to feel there are just too many holes on this roster to fill for West Virginia to win 7 or 8 games next year?
Remains to be seen. Let's see how they do with the incomings. But that's a concern, yes. A lot of holes.
Yeah. I'm listening to the Mothman recap episode. Want to see if you all knew that the Mothman was from Point Pleasant. Also, if you all ever want to come enjoy some time with me at my family property in Tucker County along the Chi River, you're more than welcome. Steve in Morgantown.
Tucker County checking in.
Ooh. I did not pre-read these today.
Oh, what do you got?
Oh, I didn't pre-read this. I'm going to read this.
Okay.
Hello, all capital letters.
Oh, God. If this is from the Mothman, we're ending. This is the last one. This is from the Mothman. Done.
This is going to be a longer text.
Done.
And for obvious reason, Tony. This is
I'm out.
the Mothman.
I'm out.
It has come to my attention that there has been recent rumors about me, and they've been spread on this stupid podcast.
Yep.
I have decided to clear things up. First, I am real. Some random guys claiming to dress up and be me. Seriously? I suggest you and your listeners go and read some of the personal accounts of what happened in Point Pleasant in 1966 and 67. With all due respect, it's impossible.
The Mothman's now using all due respect. Wrap it up. Let's go.
Wait. With all due respect, it's impossible. It could have been some mortal men playing dress-up. Second, speaking of Point Pleasant, it's in Mason County, not Pleasants County. Lastly, you three clowns are now on my radar. Though to be fair, the senator has shown some reverence toward me, and Hoppy did try to question these false accusations.
Yes.
As long as there is no hopgasms, he will spare my wrath for now, which leaves one guy, Scopes.
Thank you.
Oh,
good. I'm off.
There you go.
I have my red eyes on you.
I'm off the hook.
You haven't heard the last of me, signed by the Mothman.
Hey, real quick, related note: when you get a moment, sorry to do this on the air, but when you get a moment, can you send me the logins for the text messaging and stuff? Since I'm going to have to assume control of this at some point, Hoppy.
Hey, listen.
Checks in.
Texter.
I feel better that we're
I
spared.
attended the West Virginia Buffalo game yesterday. It gave my Grinch heart great pleasure to see the Burger King parking lot on Pattison empty. As with all native West Virginians, it is our birthright to park at any and all fast food restaurants for free. Happy as a fellow Eastern Panhandle native, you could know this. The scene created when we are asked to pay for parking is akin to Hugs giving a tongue lashing to a basketball official when he disagrees with a call. Tony, that was me screaming Scopes like a mental patient just released from the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum at you yesterday from my seat.
Scopes.
Your non-acknowledgement of this very loud and persistent outcry made others sitting around me very uncomfortable, as they were clearly not listeners of this fine program.
Who's he yelling at? Why is he saying Scopes?
Finally, with all due respect to the many texters of this show, I do not own land anywhere in the state except for my single-family home in Martinsburg, which is located in Berkeley County, not Pleasants County. However, having just paid off my home, I am considering purchasing a piece of land in Mason County to be able to pursue my newly found passion of solving the origins of the Mothman. Merry Christmas to you all. Thanks for making my commute more fun. Okay, here's some other stuff.
Great text.
Real quick, we got to go.
Do you really have to go?
Yeah, like we're close.
Okay, just let me do this.
Kickoff's like in a few minutes.
Okay, let me do this. Texter.
But we got to go.
You guys piss me off, man. Texter.
The one time we have to go.
I know.
'Twas the Thursday night of Hoppy's assignment week, and on Canal Boulevard, the participants were ready for Christmas parade because they had been practicing hard. The bands were ready to play a joyous holiday tune, and everyone was ready to walk and march under a beautiful December moon. When coming down the street, something made eyes and ears a-poppin'. It was rings from a bell atop a train conducted by none other than old Hoppy. Bring the picture up of the train. The train was towing Hoppy, children, and their parents for Christmas cheer. It was also carrying Brad and Tony and Taylor in the caboose at the rear. Hoppy made a right-hand turn and entered Capitol Street, where thousands of excited patrons were ready for meet and greet. But he spoke not a word as he made his merry way, for he knew at the end of the parade his reward was a sandwich from Subway. On the steps of the public library, Tony's eyes were concentrating deep, for he saw his second 300-pound boar, and yes, this one was also asleep. He gathered his tranquilizer gun and steadied his aim, for he was coming out of retirement and he wasn't missing again. As the dart went through the night sky and entered his prey, Tony was very satisfied, for another creature he had slayed. Onlookers gasped at his heroics, giving him choruses of ahs and oohs. Even one parade attendee exclaimed, "Congrats, Scopes, you're now 2 for 2." Further along the parade road, there came such a mighty clatter. Someone had sprung from the train. People were asking, "What's the matter?" But alas, no one was sick, and no one had fallen hard. It was Brad exiting at Adelphia Bar and Grill to check on his parlay cards. As his eyes glanced at the monitors, his face became aglow, for he knew very soon he'd be rolling in the dough. It didn't matter who was on the air, Cavaliers, Bulls, or Mountaineers. You could see the senator's smile beaming between his ears. As I watched, with his excitement growing, my 3 guys' Christmas gift is this: a Ken Palm subscription so I can keep up with the Brad's analysis. As the parade made its final voyage, down Summer Street it became clear that Hoppy's mission was nearly finished and his delicious reward was getting near. As producer Taylor handed him the prize, Hoppy gladly munched on his dinner, but he also knew the crowd was festive and everyone tonight in Charleston was a winner. As the crew started up I-79 to their homes, Hoppy shouted, "Merry Christmas" and such, and hoping on January the 6th, I don't drink too much.
Well done.
Well done.
Nicely done. Good
There's
job.
some strong listeners,
That
Skirchel.
was.
We have some strong, creative
Unbelievable.
listeners.
Outstanding.
Excellent.
Bonded. We are bonded with our
Excellent.
people.
Yeah.
These are our people. They
All right,
get
so
us.
these guys have to leave.
Got a bowl game. Football.
You got to go to a bowl game. Okay, go leave. Just go leave. Just
Okay, play the music.
go leave. Thursday? No, Thursday we got a game. What are we doing? We play Thursday. Do we do a Stony Brook preview Wednesday? Do we do a show on Friday?
Wednesday or Friday?
Friday.
Friday?
Looks like
Friday's busy.
We got a game Friday, don't we?
I think we got 2 Friday.
Yeah, we have 2 games
Got to check on
Friday.
that. TBD.
No, wait a minute.
Subscribe or follow. It'll just be in your feed. Schedule's going to get weird for a couple months.
not a couple months, couple weeks.
Couple months because you're traveling. You got away games. You screw this up a lot. Just trying to put it all on
He's
us.
going to be gone that first road trip.
I know where I'm going to be on January the 6th at the Courchevel Festival. 3 guys before the game brought to us by GoMart. If you aren't a GoMart Rewards card member, you need to sign up today. Save on gas and your favorite snacks. GoMart.com for details. Burdette Camping, the only warranty forever RV dealer in all of West Virginia. Visit them at BurdetteCamping.com. And by the great folks at Comax Business Systems, your full-service Conica Minolta dealer. If you're a business owner, from small to large, they got you. Comax Business Systems, ComaxWV.com. All right, that was weird. Weird
What?
show.
Yeah.
That was fine, as usual.
It's always
Dumb.
weird.
A stupid podcast.
It's always weird.
All right. What?
No.
Oh, wait. Well, no, we'll do that next episode. We'll do it next episode. All right,
Okay.
we're out. See you.